Hi there, this is guitarist and composer Mike Georgiadis. I'm just going to today show you how Soft Nylon Guitar can produce some great guitar lines just using this auto mode. And then we're going to go slightly more in depth and use manual mode to really refine and authenticate the guitar parts even further. So I'm just going to play you now this little piece I've mocked up. It's a really nice, pretty simple idea, and I might use it for something or other, but for now I've just recorded it using auto mode. So that I don't have to worry about any of the technicalities of positioning of the guitar, a fretboard, hand, or anything like that. And I've used the sustain pedal, as you can see, and every time I release a sustain pedal, it produces a nice squeak. And these gaps are very important, as I've covered in other videos, for the authentic sounding guitar parts. Anyway, here goes. So as you can hear, auto mode does a really nice job of just giving you straight away just really nice authentic guitar parts. Now what I'm going to do is just switch to manual mode and explain this mode a little bit. So manual mode is an optional kind of mode for guitarists and people that are interested in going a bit deeper just to get even more authentic results. But what manual does with these red key switches is it enables you to position the fretboard hand prior to the notes, so you can really do some forward planning with what you're going to do. As you are probably aware, the same note can appear on the fretboard in two or often three different positions, and they sound very different. Here's an example. If I play this note F in first position, I think that's F3, and then I switch to fifth position, you can hear it's much warmer. And ninth position, very different. So as a guitarist, I can really choose the kind of tonal quality of the, say, chord or arpeggio or musical passage that I put into it. So I'm just going to start refining this piece of music I'm doing using manual mode. It's already on manual mode. It's not going to change unless I specify the key switches here. So what I'm going to do is just quickly create a MIDI note, drag it down to, say, 7th position, which is a great starting point because you can see it's all in one place going across the strings, so I get a nice arpeggio going up the strings. Now that one, now you've got two notes on the same string and they're going to block each other here. So as a guitarist, I'm kind of aware that I need to go down to 5th position, and what I do is I position the key switch just when the sustain pedal comes off. Now by the way, what we're going to have here is two squeaks, and this is quite important. This produces a squeak, but so does the sustain pedal off. So what I need to do is just go into levels mode, turn off the pedal up noise, and then this is going to produce the squeak. And it makes sense because every time the position of the hand changes, it simulates the squeak during that gap. So I'm just going to check that from the beginning. We're going to start in 7th position, and then we're going to go to 5th to ensure that we go up the strings nicely. Now, if we're not changing position and we turn the pedal up, squeaks off, then obviously we're missing a squeak here. So what we need to do is go up here to the top, create another MIDI note, and you see I've got this choice of these squeaks, and then I can be very specific as to what one I want. So there, we want to go back to the original 7th position, which is there. I'll make it easy for myself. Again, we need a squeak there, so you can see how this works. That's a little bit too rounded, that sound. I'd like to go down, and you can hear the difference from that to, if I go down to 3rd position. So hopefully by now you're getting the idea of manual mode and the way it enables us to really be specific as to what positions on the fretboard we're going to employ, and therefore the kind of qualities of the notes that we can use. And as a guitarist, obviously it enables you to authentically set up things the way you'd play it in real life. So I'm just going to carry on and start talking about the use of open strings, which are essentially pedal notes. If I press this green key switch, you can see the 6 green notes light up. These notes are available to us no matter what position we're on the fretboard. Just with a real guitar, it affects the way we tune the guitar. We're going to stick with standard tuning today, but I will go into this much further in another video. So if I just play the next phrase. As you can hear, there are certain notes that cut each other out. It's just incorrect positioning. Now, in auto mode, this would actually be taken care of by the script, but not maybe in the way that I'd like it to. So I can tell as a guitarist that the notes are quite low down here. I'd like to go back to 1st position, which is just the open string position. So this first part sounded great. The second part didn't sound so good because there were 2 notes that were cancelling each other out here. And we need a squeak here anyway, but what I want to do is just go up to 2nd position. Brings me down to this point here where you can clearly see we have a D on this string. These are the different strings separated by colours, and an F sharp on the next string. So this is a really good kind of visual aid if you're looking to write arpeggios or chords that really go across the strings. It's really useful. Good. And then I would like this to be an open string, which brings me down to this key switch here. If I go down and select C0 as the note plays, you could see there that the open B string was played instead of a sort of fretted B. It gives a very different kind of sound, the open strings. Yeah, that position's alright still, so what I'm going to do is just input a squeak. By the way, I can control the volume of the squeaks and also the length. So I could do a very short one, or you can control. And as you can hear, I'd want to put squeaks in, I'd want to change the positions throughout the whole thing. But that gives you a general idea, and I hope that answers a few of your questions about the use of manual mode. Another thing just to say about these key switches at the bottom is that for each of these position changes, you have 3 different squeak samples available by velocity. So if I go down, each one goes from quiet to loud, so you can control the volume as well. So there we have it today, just a quick overview of manual mode. I'll go further into this, and definitely the tuning page, which basically sets our pedal notes available via the green key switch. just as with a real guitar, you want access to different set of notes depending on the piece, the key, set by the capo, the tuning. And so, yeah, thanks very much and hope you enjoyed that.